This building here on Ocean Avenue really reminds us of Laguna Beach's past. So it wasn't too long ago that none of this here in downtown Laguna was built yet. And what we have here is a structure that's almost original to this area. This one, according to records, was built in 1917, and I want to point out a couple interesting things about it. This is a very special type of architecture that you might recognize. It's called board and batten. And that refers to the boards of the sheathing here and then the batten coming over the top. And this is a very old style of architecture that you'll see all across the United States. And it's because this is a board here and the seams were laid over with the batten strips. So a long time ago, this was some high level architecture. This was the most energy efficient buildings, right? Covering these gaps and not allowing that heat out or that cool to get in. This is one of those spots that's so easy to walk by and not even think about it, but really it's nice to notice it and to be anchored back to our past here in Laguna Beach. Love this piece here. This is the People's Council from 2006. So this piece here is meant to symbolize, of course, the People's Council. We've got our masculine and feminine elements along with the youth across from me. We're here one block from City Hall, so I think it's just the most fabulous spot for it. And something that I've walked by here and I've never noticed before, but let's take a look. On the floor here are the human values. Throughout the day, the shadow of this spire here cruises around the circle and highlights all the different human values. So I'm stoked to say right now is success. But I'll say when I walked by about an hour ago, it was the theme of love. So here's the Lumberyard. This building was built in 1919, and this was an actual lumber yard. This is where the people came to process the lumber and provide the building materials that created Laguna Beach. So there were some homes in the area before that, but what had to happen is people were either collecting driftwood, collecting shipwrecked boats, the wood off of them, and peeling them apart, or they were bringing in wood down Laguna Canyon by mule. This place really has an important part to play in the whole history of Laguna Beach, and that's definitely reflected in the aesthetic of the buildings. The Lumberyard is a classic example of this sort of eclectic and quirky stonework and brickwork here, along with the lumber and the wood. You're not gonna find this anywhere else. I'll be straight with you, I don't know anything about this. I see it here for years and years and years. So if anyone's got any information about this, please do hit me up, leave a comment. Would love to hear what's up with this thing. A lot of things have changed since the coronavirus pandemic started, but we're here, Forest Avenue, a little closure now to create all these little parklets, and I think everyone can agree this is a really, really welcome change. Just want to point out one of my other go-tos for breakfast in the area, Moulin behind us. Moulin actually means windmill in French, and this is their Laguna Beach location, but they also got spots that I know of in Dana Point, San Clemente, and Newport Beach. Super good spot for coffee and for really delicious French pastries. Check it out. Hey, this is for all the ballers out there. Right here we have one of the best public basketball courts in the state of California, no doubt. You gotta come down when the day is not windy, but check this out. Okay, I just wanna let you know, this is the screw around court where you can go shoot and warm up and stuff. But right here, this is the court for exhibitions, okay? If you come here in the summertime on a day that's not windy, you can get some seriously fun action out here. And the best part is you're gonna get a fat crowd, okay, of people who are super stoked and interested, and it's just a good vibes, bumping music. Come check this out if you're a baller anywhere in Southern California. It's worth the drive. This is the Laguna Beach Lifeguard headquarters here at Main Beach. This is the new building. It was built in 2014, and so this is their administrative headquarters, and the awesome organization really that's out here keeping people safe on the stretch of Laguna Beach, everything north of Aliso Beach. So really, really nice. This is Main Beach, and we do have a beach here for a couple reasons. Number one, you see way out in the distance those rocks out there. So that's where a certain geological formation is stopped. And this whole area was the mouth of Laguna Creek. And we can see Laguna Creek right there. Today it hasn't broken through the berm. It doesn't often do so, but we can see right underneath that little bridge there at the boardwalk, that's where the water would come out. And it's for that reason the creek has brought so much sediment to this area, and that's what's created this big, wide, sandy beach. Something that it's not quite common knowledge, but perhaps should be, is this area is called Laguna Beach, and the word Laguna is Spanish word for lagoon. And so at the mouth of Laguna Canyon, way back there, are two lagoons. And when the Spanish discovered them in the late 1700s, that's why they gave this region its name, Laguna. Those are the only two naturally occurring lakes in Orange County. Little known historical fact here in Main Beach, the rocks out here, Bird Rock was actually connected to the rocks via a wooden pier. And that was around in the 1920s or so, until it was destroyed by some severe surf. So it was a good spot to fish, I guess, back in the day, but we don't allow that, of course, anymore. It's the corner of Myrtle and Cliff. Okay, the best, most Laguna Beach statue ever coming right up. Let's check it out. Can you see it? I told you. Didn't I tell you? This is the most Laguna Beach statue ever. When I say ever, I mean ever. I'm not talking like up to this point in time. I'm talking about for all time. This statue right here really tells you what Laguna Beach is about. If you don't believe that, come at me. Seriously, talk to me. Show me something that's more Laguna Beach than this. I'd be interested to see it. Something that might not be immediately apparent, I've been here many times, but this, since the 1920s, was actually a home perched right here on the bluff. And it wasn't until 1998, with the big El Nino storm, that this whole structure became unsafe, unstable, and so it was ultimately demolished and donated to the city to become this awesome spot, Browns' Park. Let's check it out. In this fleeting moment, what extravagant respite as blooming surf speaks its mystical passage across the undreamed depths. I will tell you right now, this is maybe the most romantic spot in all of Laguna Beach. If you come here on a Friday night or a Saturday night, you should bring your special someone and you can feel the energy. Can you just imagine with like 7 couples here, everyone just like this, watching the sunsets, watching the city lights? This is an awesome spot to bring your special someone. I hope you enjoy it. Browns' Park, a legacy. Let me live in a house by the side of the sea where men and women wander by, where there's beauty and grace and excitement that's free. On the beach, in the sun, let me lie. Let me listen to ocean's melodious roar and its rhythm so soothing to hear, as the foam-covered waves seem to reach for the shore under skies that are sunny and clear. Mr. Joseph E. Brown. We're here at Top of the World in Laguna Beach, and I brought you here because I wanted to show you this awesome view of Saddleback Valley. Way out in the distance there, we can see Saddleback Mountain with Santiago and Majesca Peaks. We got the city of Aliso Viejo here in front of us, and all of this hilly space in the foreground, these are the San Joaquin Hills. The Saddleback Valley in between, and on the far side, the foothills. So we can see all the way out to Rancho Santa Margarita. We can see Lake Forest, all of it. Now, something that's pretty interesting about this area, of course, this was inhabited for thousands of years by people native to this region. There was the Hachimans and the Tongva, and they had a general dividing line right over here in Aliso Canyon, with everything south being more the Hachiman tribe and everything north all the way through to Los Angeles and the whole basin there being part of the Tongbas. In the late 1700s is when the Spanish came, and they claimed this entire area for their nation and their king. And the king doled out the land in ranchos to all of the big bosses that he was friends with, his relationships. So this whole area became transformed from the 1700s on into becoming ranchos. All the different ranchos here, like Rancho Niguel, Rancho Lomas de Santiago, Rancho Mission Viejo, names that you maybe have heard before. And these ranchos were spots where the cattle would graze and were owned by single landowners. After the Mexican Revolution in 1821 became part of Mexico, and then in 1848, after the Mexican-American War, it became part of the United States. And many of those ranchos, so all this land here was privately owned and was eventually sold to people coming from the East Coast. But what's really interesting is that most of Laguna was not part of the ranchos. And so everywhere from about Main Beach south was open land. And when people came to this area in the late 1800s, 1871 in fact was the first person to come here from the east, and their name was George and Sarah Thurston, and they were homesteaders. So if you haven't heard about it, the Homestead Act back then in the mid 1800s allowed people to come from the East Coast, and if they farmed a certain section of land for 5 years, they could receive up to 160 acres of land from the government. And therefore, right, all this area was privately held, but everything behind us over here in Laguna Beach ended up splitting into small little, well, I wouldn't say small, 160 acre plots that people took and then ended up developing over time. So pretty interesting history. Just looking out here at the Laguna Coast Wilderness, and this is part of a whole network of parks that total almost 20,000 acres of pristine land here by the coast. This is the largest wilderness area this close to the coast here in Orange County, and it really gives a good sense of what this area was like before people came. So you can enjoy more than 40 miles of trails over in this area over here. Quick backstory on this space too. It was in 1993 that this became a park. So there was a lot of talk about what was going to happen to this space, and eventually it was decided by the community of Laguna Beach to pass a big bond measure to purchase this land and make it into a wilderness preserve. And I am so grateful that they have done that for us, because generations of people will come to enjoy this space and learn all about the natural ecosystem and what it was like before people came. So this is a very special spot, awesome public amenity for this neighborhood up here. This is at the top of Park Drive. We call it Top of the World. And this is it. This is the incomparable Crescent Bay. One of the best beaches in Laguna, I think we can all agree. And there's something, if you've spent any amount of time here, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, but I just label it as magical. When I come down here, I tend to see people that I haven't seen in years and reconnect with them, or meeting brand new people, sometimes from all over the world, and having those really impactful and meaningful connections that can change the course of your life. This is just one of those spots, and it's good for a lot of things. The tide pooling is excellent at both ends. The body surfing and boogie boarding can be great when there are waves. The open water swimming is fantastic with the 2 points, swimming laps in between them. And like I was saying, just hanging out on the sand is a total treat. This is a great spot to spend a day and enjoy other people's company. Just a call to all of my musician friends out here. This is the amphitheater at Crescent Bay Park, and this is an awesome spot if you want to come down and please at sunset serenade us, play a little guitar for us, play a little accordion for us, help us enjoy this beautiful space just a little bit more. Would love to see you share your talents. And there it is. We've been cruising around Laguna Beach for most of the day, and we have seen only a fraction of what's available. So I'm glad you were able to come along. I hope you see I'm very passionate about this community and about all of Orange County in general. So would love to get to know you better and find, where are you gonna fit best? What hyperlocal spot are you and your family gonna thrive in? That's the question, and that's what I love to do, is help my clients answer that. My name's Antho, Mr. Hyperlocal with Bullock-Russell Real Estate Services. Let me know if I can help you out. Thanks so much for spending the day with me. You take care.